So hey y'all, I'm back with another video. So tonight's video is yet again another Chioma Chats video podcast edition. So by the title, we're going to be talking about toxic relationships. So I got the inspiration for this video because a few of y'all suggested this topic, and also because I've noticed that in the urban pop culture realm, Jayda Cheaves has been seen out with her baby daddy and ex-boyfriend, Lil Baby. Lil Baby is a rapper out of Atlanta, and he's probably one of the biggest rappers out of the new school hip hop era. And then LIL DURK, a top drill rapper from Chicago, was also seen on a live stream with his baby mama and fiance, Royale. Both of these couples are supposedly and allegedly broken up, but that does not seem like the case here. Now, some of y'all may think that I really pay attention to these people. It may seem like that because I do talk about them frequently, but I really only see what is posted on the blogs, and oftentimes the stories are sent to me. Nonetheless, I still do think that all of these people do have some type of interesting dynamic that definitely feeds into the interest of young people, from teenagers to people in their 20s to even people in their early 30s. The narrative surrounding both of these rappers stems from their infidelities to these women. And I think there is this notion that is not only being promoted, projected, and excused, but more than anything, normalized. And I get it. You're young and you're on, then you're off, then you're on, then you're off. And relationships are very toxic and tumultuous these days. Relationships are almost deemed boring or uninteresting if they don't have drama. The whole ride or die culture has been streamlined through music, meme pages like Justin LaBoy and Nakers Be Hoes Okay, and really just a generation of young people. And I think it does get carried out through some of these young couples in pop culture that we see. And it's not just the black ones, I think it's also in other demographics. I feel like the Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez relationship saga back in the day also exemplified this. And that couple was world renowned. Everybody knew about Jelena. Even as far as Kylie Jenner and Travis Scott, I mean, I think most of us don't care about their relationship now and really then, but they also exemplified the whole toxic relationship, taking back a cheater, being on and off again, that is pretty prevalent in young people. So I wanted to talk about toxic relationships because one, I never did a solo video about this topic, and two, because I feel like we've been kind of indoctrinated as young people to believe that drama, ups and downs, and disrespect is part of a relationship timeline, and I'm here to tell you it is not. There are certain things that I noticed about these young women that are also my peers, but I think this shows a deeper reason as to why there is this consistent back and forth between the men that they are involved with. So I've broken this video down into two overall main talking points. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. So my first point is toxic relationships. So in all honesty, to label what these relationships are, it is just downright toxic. And I feel like the word toxic has been thrown around over the last few years as somewhat exaggerated, somewhat comical, but all in all, accurate. There's been this underlying concept that being in a toxic relationship is what proves that the love is real, the love is passionate, and the love is forever. And I'm here to tell y'all again that it is not. But I do agree that relationships do have ups and downs, and in some cases, they can get toxic. Let's look at the definition of the word toxic. So according to Google, it says very harmful or unpleasant in a pervasive or insidious way. And the literal example it has is a toxic relationship. And I feel like the sentence example is actually ironic because that shows how prevalent toxicity exists in so many relationships, but specifically romantic relationships. Now, if you're one of those commenters that are going to say that people should mind their business, people should worry about their own relationships, and that the general public likes to judge these famous people even though they participate in the same behavior, please click off and log off and unplug and tap out. Just leave, because that's actually the point. The point is these plasterings of couples goals over the years have really revealed that many of these relationships are somewhat toxic, because toxicity is not exclusive to normal people or just celebrities. It's kind of embedded in relationships and romantic culture within young people and everyone these days. There was a whole era of relationship channels here on YouTube, and they instantly pulled people in and had people gravitate to watch what we thought was the best examples of young love and what we thought was what we all should strive to be. And then after a few years and blog pages and exposés about the reality of a lot of these relationships, we also learned that money and clout was the main factor behind a lot of these channels. Many of the women were being cheated on, and a lot of these couples may have started off being genuine and having good intentions, but eventually you could really just say that a lot of them were just really being in a business contract with the other person. Once the silk blanket was removed, we saw that these relationships had more toxicity than happiness, joy, peace, and then some. And I'll always revert back to this Bible verse, which is Galatians 5:22-23. And it says, "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law." And like I always say, there are so many different versions of the terminologies used in that scripture. However, I always look at everything in life, especially dealing with another person or another entity, and dictate if it has the fruits of the Spirit. And I feel like in common relationships, especially the ones that are pushed and carried out by young people, there are no fruits. Like, where y'all fruits at? The fruits in most cases are things such as greed or materialism or envy or lust or pride. And what does that sound like? Parts of the 7 deadly sins. Now, I don't try to get too biblical on YouTube, but I include that to say that when you're looking at a lot of this stuff, you start to see the commonalities of what makes up a toxic relationship between two people. Now, transitioning into the examples, what Lil Baby and Jayda and then what LIL DURK and Royale have shown us is that not only are toxic relationships most common, but they have become accepted and normalized. I'm not going to solely blame these people. However, I do think that they played a huge role in why there are so many young people influenced by toxic relationships. Between these types of examples with the hip-hop artists and their girlfriends, let alone baby mamas, and then as well as the YouTube channels that were very prevalent a few years back, put it all together and it makes for a turbulent storm of a relationship. Now, what makes it that way? I would say first and foremost, infidelity. Cheating, having a main girl and a side chick, being able to live this playboy lifestyle is really pushed out through hip-hop. And because hip-hop is so big, so prevalent, so popular, I mean, it's most definitely the most visible music genre at the moment, I think it also trickles down into the normal culture of everyone. And that's regardless of race and regardless of age. It's like people are more turned on and enticed by having rifts within their relationship because somehow these actions of cheating and having other women make some men feel that they are desired or they have options, and then make some women feel that as long as I am the one that he comes back to, then I am a winner. And that mindset is toxic in itself, but not only is it toxic, but it's actually very stupid. Like, there's no other word to call it other than dumb. Because of course you can talk about the outcomes such as the potential exposure to like a STI or the embarrassment that may come along with it and the scrutiny that she'll feel from other women, let alone the public. But I think that the actual personal prestige within yourself is the number one thing that a lot of young women should be looking at. Your personal prestige plummets, and y'all know I love to use my P words, but your personal prestige plummets when you knowingly and actively participate in a relationship where you know that there are other contenders towards your girlfriend or boyfriend or spouse. And the reason why I know this is because I've been there. Somebody commented the other day and said, "Oh, Chioma, you say a lot of good things and I love your content, but you think you're perfect. You never talk about yourself. You look at everybody else's situation and not your own." But in the same breath, when I decided to talk about myself in a previous video, talking about being natural, embracing my black features, being happy that I look the way that I do, I'm also being called out for not being humble or being self-centered or trying to be egotistical. I swear you cannot win with the internet. I literally always give personal examples because I have literally done everything that I've talked about on this channel. More things that I've even admitted to. But bump the haters, I've been there. I've done that. And I will say that infidelity and that Russian roulette of women and that Hugh Hefner to Playmate type of look and lifestyle is very prevalent amongst men that have some type of clout, some type of desire about them, and really do like to play the field. And those are the worst guys to deal with because they have been inflated to believe that they are the prize. And I'm not saying that men can't be, but let's be real here. They think that because they have this fame from their rap career or this attention from their athletic talents or this desire for their attractiveness or whatever, that they are instantly allowed to be an F-boy, have multiple women, entertain them, and put your mental and physical health in limbo. Back in college, I went to a school where we had Division I sports, so the focus on football was really big. And I'm pretty sure I've told this story before, but let's tell it again. And I dated this football player, and it was just nutty from the beginning. And I feel like I overlooked a lot of red flags because this was a man who made me feel that regardless of whoever tries to talk to him and whoever entertains him on the low, Chioma, you are my main girl. You are the one that after the party, I'm going home with you. We spend days together. We go out in public. I'll take you to the mall to go shopping and then some. And it ended up not working out, of course, and I thank God for revealing that to me, as well as also giving me the opportunity to be cordial with this individual in today's times. But I remember how much of a mental and physical limbo I was in because it was 100% toxic and 0% beneficial to me to stay and hope that things would get better. Now, when I look at Jayda Cheaves and I look at Royale, both women are beautiful. I think these ladies have done a great job cultivating a platform for themselves, as well as utilizing their relevance, their clout, and even their attachment to their baby daddies and boyfriends, and getting a mass following that will forever set them straight. However, as much as I can praise them for their platforms and for their financial excellence, I can't negate the fact that at this point, they're just as known for their relationships and their relationships being toxic. Now, like I said, the most prevalent thing I see within the toxicity is the infidelity. It's the on and off and the back and forth. And I think this is actually more toxic than cheating. I know some people will debate me on that, but I feel like when you never know your relationship status with somebody, that's when things like infidelity, disrespect, and the instability of your mental and physical health actually arise. Because if we are on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, but we're off on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and then Sunday we're front row at the church, that is inconsistent and very confusing. And just a few months ago, Royale was on Twitter saying how she's single, she's a free agent, and how her and LIL DURK are not together. But here we are a few months later, and allegedly she was in a live stream with him and laying in the bed, and the two seemingly being back together. Now, some people speculate that they never broke up and this was all for publicity and to promote whatever album or song or project LIL DURK may be about to put out. I don't put nothing past any of these people because they will do anything for clout, but then say that the regular people on the internet are the ones that are clout chasers. Yeah, okay, I don't think so. But I do believe that this could all be a publicity stunt. However, let's just take it for surface value. That instability of being on, then off, and then back on, and then back off, to me is the most detrimental part and the most telltale sign of a toxic relationship. Because if there is no coordinated effort on both people to remain in a relationship, then is there really a relationship? And then as for Lil Baby and Jayda Cheaves, for the longest it was on and off again. And I watched Jayda's interview on Angela Yee's podcast show Lip Service, and it was a really good interview. I feel like Jayda doesn't get as much credit or recognition for being so well-spoken, being personable, and having a story to tell outside of her relationship. However, she did speak on how the relationship got really bad and how things were on and off, and most importantly, how she never even knew about the cheating until the internet told her what was going on. She said when it came to him cheating on her and the different women and all of these allegations, she found out on the internet, which is interesting to me because either Lil Baby is a smooth criminal or Jayda is oblivious and doesn't go looking for things, because I don't know, that's just very scary to know that you are sitting at home thinking that your relationship is in good standing, and then hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people on the internet know something that you don't know. But with that being said, that caused her relationship to be on again and off again, because even when he would make it up to her, which to me was probably by making false promises, buying more Birkin bags, more vacations to remote locations, and things of that nature, eventually there would be an off period and be back on, and then we'll be back off. And we as the general public have witnessed this between Jayda and Lil Baby, as well as LIL DURK and Royale. And I think with LIL DURK and Royale, for the longest, they had no scandals. For the longest, it seemed like he was somewhat faithful, at least to the public eye, and for the longest, they were the only remaining hip-hop couple that seemed more solid than the rest. Lil Baby and Jayda had their ups and their downs. Even Ari Fletcher and G Herbo had their ups and downs. Ella Bands and A Boogie had their ups and downs. NBA Youngboy and Jania had their ups and downs. And y'all can let me know the rest because those are really the only ones that I kind of know. But Lil Durk and Royale were the only ones that seemed to be solid for the longest until they also cracked. And that was recently, like within the last 6 months. I think what all of these couples show is just toxic relationships of people who are really more bound together by the children that they share versus the love that they have for each other. And I'm not negating the fact that neither party loves the other, but I do feel like this is not a representation of love. And you can say I'm being judgmental and that relationships go through things, but love does not hurt. I at least know that. And that's something that I also had to learn. I had to detach myself from my ex even after we were done, just because I had to remember that what I'm being given is not love. It's a facade of love that is really wrapped in toxicity, insecurity, disrespect, and a lot of other negative terminologies that don't represent love. A toxic relationship is not love, and I can't stand to see these beautiful young ladies still involve themselves with men who down the line, it's gonna be the same old story. Things may not get worse, but they're definitely not gonna get better because these men have already made the choice of what type of boyfriend or fiance they are outside of what type of men that they actually are. And a toxic relationship has now been made the poster child for young love in particular, and it's influencing this generation of millennials and Gen Z and even maybe Generation Alpha to believe that cheating is a part of a relationship, disrespect is a part of a relationship, and all in all, abuse is a part of a relationship. And again, I'm here to tell you it is not. So my second and final point is future implications. I feel like for both examples, the toxicity has peaked, meaning these guys have probably done the worst they could do, which is cheating and allegedly outside babies. And maybe the worst would be if they had brought back these women some type of incurable disease, or even if it is curable, just the fact that something was passed along to them. But that's all a maybe. I don't have any proof of that, nor am I alleging that, but I am saying that it is possible. But I think what people don't realize sometimes is that these women are low-key but high-key suffering. And that suffering comes from the lack of confidence, the lack of self-esteem, and the desire to want to please this man by any means necessary. And I've been through this phase as well. So I've seen this with the physical changes of these women, especially Jayda Cheaves. I think even without Lil Baby, Jayda was going to alter her body. I mean, it's very common for women like her who are considered it girls within beauty and are short and petite and don't have that much curve to them naturally to go and get body enhancements. And at least now in 2023, the skinny BBL or just the thinner look is in style. However, we just kind of left off of the super thick girl era, and that obviously existed in Jayda's looks during her come up. The girl has changed a lot about herself. Eyelid surgery to give a more fox eye look, lip fillers, she had veneers at one point, she's gotten butt shots, she's gotten breast implants, and those are the things that I can see. I don't know what else she's done that I technically can't see, but I'm pretty sure one of y'all will drop it down below in the comment section. And I feel like a lot of this is a response to insecurity that is put on by the men that they deal with, like flat out. I've been here before where I remember at the end of my last relationship in college, I had lost a lot of weight. Like I was literally looking like a lollipop, big old head, and my body was just a bag of bones straight up and down. And I'm 5'10", so it looked very drastic, and it was due to the stress and other things that my relationship was causing. And I remember my ex had made a comment saying that I looked skinny AF and I lost a lot of weight, and how he said it was as if he was displeased by the way how I looked. And if we're being real, when he met me, I was thick, like slim thick. And I remember the night that I met him, we were at a party and I had on an outfit that really showed my curves, and that's something that he was probably attracted to, like, let's just be real. But nonetheless, I went hard in trying to gain my weight back and clearing up my acne and hyperpigmentation from my face, because I remember he also called me a pimple face at one point, and also having a focus on some materialistic items because the girl he was dealing with before, during, and after me was really into designer, and this directly influenced me to become somebody who I wasn't. And although I am happy that I gained my weight back, and I am happy that I cleared my face, I mean, I was gonna do that anyway once I got the money, and I am happy that I can afford to get myself nice things that may be designer, I eventually realized that I was doing it as a trauma response to what a man who I was dating said or projected onto me. And that's what I see with Jayda Cheaves in particular. I feel like a lot of her social media presence within the last year has been a trauma response to Lil Baby's infidelities. This is my opinion before somebody tries me, but of course we don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but Jayda had never been showing as much skin in the past than she has been now. She definitely changed a lot about how she looked once the relationship seemed to be at a huge standstill, and her responses to her trending on social media were a bit more hostile than they were in the past. So with Royale, I remember she was always praised for being natural, like with her body, but obviously she has gotten work done over the years, and it definitely looks like a BBL. I mean, her butt is bigger, her waist is smaller, her hips are higher. It looks like she got work done. And I know there's somebody that's gonna say that what if these women are just doing it for themselves? And that may be, but I think we would also be naive to not consider the fact that it could be a trauma response to feeling inadequate because your man cheats on you with certain types of women. Because I feel like as ladies, our looks and our appearance is a big part of being a woman. And when you are spotlighted for being a beautiful person, or you are famous because of what you look like, similar to the examples at hand, don't negate the possibility of going under the knife because your insecurities are aggravated. So that's the current implications of a toxic relationship within these people. Having this trauma response that affects what you do to your body and also how you view yourself. And that's why I can't support or be in favor of a toxic relationship, because the deeper it gets, the deeper the rabbit hole goes for your mental and physical health, flat out. Like, I'm speaking from personal experience. It took me a long time to recuperate my confidence. It took me a long time to recuperate my self-worth. It took me a long time to recuperate my common sense. And as much as people think I'm harsh on these ladies, I really do speak about them from a personal experience, because I know what it feels like to date somebody and it be toxic and it's on and off and it's not stable, and how much of an effect it has on you personally. And then the most wicked part is that it seems like the man in this case is always completely unscathed. Like, LIL Durk had been going on a tirade on social media about how bad he felt about India no longer being with him and making statements seeming like he was hurt. But I feel like that was all toxic and projecting trauma, because how can you feel bad about something that you caused and then seem as if your accountability is lacking? I'm not saying that people don't feel bad for upsetting their partners, but when it's a consistent thing, how bad do you really feel? I feel like these ladies are kind of locked into an imaginary contract with these guys, and they think it's because they have a child by them, when in reality, it's deeper than that. It's a mental and physical attachment to these men, and that is the future implication. The mental and physical attachment getting deeper and getting more permanent the longer that you stay in it. What I would have liked to see from both of these ladies is for them to really have a period of time where they are single, because being single and also being celibate gives you a lot of clarity that you would have never guessed that you could come to. But when you are clouding your judgment with the physical, mental, and even sexual attachment to somebody, it's gonna take a little bit longer for you to wake up and smell the coffee. I'm not here to tell these ladies that they should do this or should not do that, because I myself still struggle with trying to overcome the same things I talk about. But what I am saying is that if you allow yourself to break the shackles of a toxic relationship, the chances of you realizing your self-worth, increasing your confidence, and also accepting the fact that you deserve better than what you are given does get higher, and things do get better. So that is it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Please let me know your commentary on my commentary down below. What do you think? What do you know? Let me know. If you haven't already, go stream my song Ceremony. It is out on all platforms. Definitely check it out for me. And lastly, don't forget to follow me on all of my social media networks, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye, y'all.
Talk to him like, yeah, oh yeah, I said 34 beat cup, 30 in the deep cut, 20 baddies with me, QTM, yeah, we up. 16 tossing bottoms, man, I went and got my teeth done. 10 minutes with him, now his 15 minutes is cut. Never ever make a nigga think that he up, cause you a queen and I'm a queen, now shout out to Latifah. Security in the back with a racket like Serena. Ex-nigga crying, laugh at him like a hyena. Like, damn, what you saying, daddy? Yeah, I know I got it, fatty. Pussy talking to him, talk my shit, yeah, I be getting catty. Play with me, I bet you won't. Fatty on his chest, and now he calling me a stethoscope. Pink fit, look thick, I'm looking good, incredible. Cut a nigga off, I'm coming through like a semicolon. Mansion in the motherland, December come, that's where we going. Body have my niggas frozen, niggas put my picture up, and yeah, they go and get the lotion. And I'm the one they check up on. Feeling so lucky, getting green like a leprechaun. Run a few errands with the bag with the checkers on it, push it on the floor.